No gold is not in her. She's a dime.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Paperboy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And today we've got, well, a very special episode for you. Got a little bonus footage for you back at the end of this over here where we show you just some of the hard work that goes into a warehouse like we have. Well, we're living in a cave currently, but other than that, I got some neat stuff over here for the warehouse. We got another great collectible that Mr. Magazine picked up that we'll be going on. But we've got another interesting thing going on over here. I had a problem on Amazon, Mr. Magazine.
Oh, surprise, surprise, surprise.
I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but have you ever shipped something out to the wrong person where people's orders get mixed up?
It does happen occasionally. Rare though, but it does happen.
What do you do in that instance?
Well, I try to get each of the buyers to send the items to each other because that saves on the shipping. Instead of shipping 4 times, you're shipping 2 times, I guess. But it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes one will ship it, one won't ship it. They want the money in advance to ship it. The easiest thing probably would be to refund them both, have them return them to me, and then just deal with it down the road again.
And that's exactly what I did. And because of the situations that you've come into in the past, which I'll go into a little bit more, and I'm sure you'll remember a few of them as I tell them. Basically, what ended up happening is, and I hate when this happens, I got an email from Bob, doesn't matter who it is, and he said, hey, I was supposed to get a book about counterfeit coins, and I actually got this other hardcover book. And I recognized the name of the other hardcover book of being something or other that I had sold, so I knew there was going to be a problem. And I said, yep, I'm sorry. Return it, and I refunded him his money. And the next day, the other person said, hey, I got a counterfeit coin book. I expected a hardcover book. And I said, yep, I understand completely. I know this happened. What I told both of them, I said, put return requests in. That way they can get the return shipping. Because I don't know on Amazon, maybe you know a little better than me, but if I had refunded it, I don't believe they can get a label at that point, correct? Because as far as Amazon's concerned, it's closed.
Yep.
So I said to the gentleman, I said, put in a return request. As soon as you do that and get the label, I will refund you immediately, and then you can return the item. Because again, when something like this happens, it was completely my fault. I mixed it up on the packing floor. Mm-hmm. I want to make it as easy as possible for people, especially now. So asking them to, hey, here's my address. Can you put a label on it? Can you schlep down to the post office? And I promise you I'm going to pay you. No, I understand them not wanting to do that. So that's kind of why I did it the way that I did it. And then I told both of them, just to make it real easy, I said, I'll let you know when I get the other one back and I'll relist it.
Right.
That way they can buy it right away as soon as it shows up. Or if they go buy from somebody else, there's no obligation for them to buy it. The reason why I was asking you is, I remember a couple of times you've had that very same issue, and it ended up being where one person just didn't respond.
Yeah, that's crazy. A few times it happens.
And from what I remember, the one I'm thinking about, I think the first person did respond and then mailed the item on.
Right. Yep. Then I had to give a refund on the other one. And
yep. So one guy ended up with 2 items.
Right.
And the other one ended up with nothing, and then you ended up out the money.
Right.
So
and if you wait for them to return it, it could be from California to New York. That could take a week or so. The other guy may not ship it, and so then I'm shipping it ahead of time, and then I don't get the other one back, and it's just a nightmare.
And I think another potential problem, which I don't know for certain, but I know certainly on eBay, I know that they're a little bit weird about giving contact information, all that kind of thing.
Right.
And I know Amazon's tough on that too. All I need is for an Amazon bot, especially now when there's not much customer support, to see me giving somebody's address out in the middle of an email, and then them all of a sudden saying, oh, you're trying to circumvent the system some way or other without bothering to read what happened. So it's just a lot easier. Unfortunately, this does happen from time to time. Now, I know you've got things in place to protect against this. I do as well, but my stupid packer never followed through on it, so things got mixed up. Probably what ended up happening was I picked up the one book, packed it, and then just grabbed the wrong sheet is what happened, I'm sure. Maybe one of the items had fallen over and I grabbed the wrong sheet, then I packed the next item and saw the sheet sitting there. Or when I was going downstairs, I may have printed both of them and just lined them up under the wrong thing. Right. One difficulty with Amazon is it does not tell you what the item is on the sheet, whereas eBay, you've actually got the item listed. But I know you've got some procedures in place to prevent this sort of thing as best as is possible?
Yeah, we try to keep our packing area spread out so you don't stack items on top of each other, because that definitely doesn't help. We try to keep the same items together. Keep eBay separate from Amazon. So, it's not a perfect system, but we do the best we can.
Well, and I also know that your items are checked both by the pooler.
Correct, yeah. Well, at least they're supposed to be. So.
And then the packer does as well.
Right.
So if there is something or other, and I know there have been times when I've been over here and one or the other has come to me and said, I just want to make sure, and then I kind of look into it a little more, and sometimes there are notes in there like, hey, ship it this way, or this is this, or the wrong picture type deal, and then I do a quick little search in email, all that sort of thing, just to verify.
Yeah, worst case, if there's any question, we just say, hey, set it aside, we'll double check it when I'm there, because they don't have computers at their disposal to check, so the manager and myself will double check it when we can.
Now, another thing that just kind of came about, we were talking, I know that the problem that you had was on eBay where the gentleman never responded and he ended up getting 2 items. Mm-hmm. How are people on Amazon at checking their emails?
They are awful. And they don't check the comments condition line either in the items we sell. Yeah.
And the reason why I bring that up is, especially back in the older days, there was a major problem that I can think of that occurred that I'm going to let you try guessing what it was, but it had to do with music.
I'm never going to get this right.
Yeah, you are. What was a common problem with music, the way that things end up getting listed?
Oh, the records?
Yeah.
Like different formats?
Formats is...
Or 180 gram or...
180 gram or CDs.
CDs, and CDs selling as vinyls, because the categories kind of like commingle themselves together, or they merge them together sometimes, so definitely a problem.
Or, it's exactly what happens sometimes is it'll say up top, what a Fleetwood Mac CD, and then in your listing, it'll say vinyl.
Right.
And then you're not certain how that happened. Did the lister just see it and say, oh, this is close enough, it's Fleetwood Mac
the picture's
rumors?
The same, yep.
Or did it get merged? Because back in the old days, Amazon used to merge listings together regularly. And what did the buyer want? And I think that's one of the key things. What did the buyer want? Because they bought a CD, but below it says vinyl.
Right, and they don't respond.
They do not respond, yep. And then what do you do in those cases? It doesn't happen
I
very
just
often.
I sit on it, and eventually I just, refund them, or I'll send it out. Depends on the value of it. So.
Yeah, just do your best on it. And one other thing they're talking about Amazon people and not reading emails. So if you are selling on Amazon, it is a difficult place to sell only because people do not read their emails. I don't know if the emails just kind of, they show up in my regular email, so I don't know why other people can't read them. Maybe they show up as spam. Maybe they're just mixed in a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe because it references the order number. Maybe they just think it's some kind of like a tracking number or something.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm not certain why, but they do not answer them regularly. How many times a week would you say you get an email from somebody wanting to know where their item is and it's already been refunded?
A lot. I would say at least once a day, probably.
Yeah, they'll ask, where is it? We'll check the tracking, and it's a $4 item, and it's stuck in Pennsylvania, and it's been stuck there, especially nowadays. It's been stuck there for 3.5 weeks, a month and a half. For a $4 item, rather have a happy customer, we just refund it. And we even do tell them, hey, you refunded, whatever. And then a week later, they send, where's my item? It's like, we sent you an email telling you refunded it.
Or where's my refund? They'll say, we refunded you a month ago or 2 weeks ago.
And that very well could be one of those deals. Maybe they're paying with a credit card and it hasn't shown up yet with the cycle or something. I don't really know, but Amazon communication between buyers and sellers is not good at all. It's just not. Don't know why. eBay is much, much better on that aspect of things. So kind of surprised you with the topic, but I knew you had a lot to say about it, mainly because it has happened and it is a regular thing. So if you are out there selling, double check your items before you send them out. It's a lot cheaper to get it right the first time. And I've actually had cases before where I messed up and I caught it. I'd already packed it all up, put the label on it, and then caught it. Said, wait a minute, here's the sheet for what I just packed. Mm-hmm. And it's a pain because you got to open it all back up. You got to go back to the computer. You got to reprint labels. You got to do all that kind of things. But it's definitely better to spend 5 minutes making it right before it goes out than having an unhappy customer, because it's not like most customers will say, hey, I just ordered the White Album by the Beatles and I got a Barbie doll. Oh, cool. It's not the way most buyers think.
Exactly.
Now I see off camera over here, but looks like something kind of neat. Why don't you show us what you got here?
All right, I spoiled myself with this because it doesn't come up very often. I think just twice in the last year on eBay this has come available for sale.
And just for the people out there, how did you know that?
I used Terapeak.
Yep.
And so I had one of these when I was younger, and an ex-employee stole it from me, and I've been wanting to replace it in my collection. The problem is they don't come up very often. It's a super rare vintage Star Wars figure known as Yak Face. This one's unopened. It's graded. AFA 85 plus with
Can
its
you
gun.
show them the grade real quick?
let's
I
see
don't know
if
if
I
they
can.
can or not see.
I'm not good at this. There we go.
There you go. So that's where they
there
put
we
the
go.
grading thing. Yep.
So it's 85 plus.
Now, I don't know very much, but that's what they call tri-logo,
This
correct?
is a tri-logo version. Yep.
How didn't Yak Face come out in a different version also?
Power of the Force with coin. That's the big daddy of them all.
Okay.
That piece is like 10 to 20,000 depending on condition. This one's worth about 4 to 5 usually. I end up getting it for 3,500. Thought it was a bargain. I jumped on it. I worked the deal out with the guy as soon as I saw it. And
then you were mentioning to me beforehand that a big thing with that is it does have the gun.
yes, it's got the gun. It's just definitely a rarer version. It's the 85 plus, which brings it almost to mint condition status. So tough to find that high grade, and especially the tri logo. The cards were very thin stock. They weren't as thicker as the U.S. version, so it's hard to get them in higher grade.
Very nice item. I've got pretty much nothing to show you, and I don't spoil it myself. Kind of hard when you're a pauper going. And then one other quick thing, a little bit of bookkeeping over here. If you remember back a couple of weeks ago, we opened the store. We've sold nothing from the store. Cool. And if you nice way to throw away
No
a little bit
eBay
of money.
fees.
Other than the store fees,
minimal,
correct?
minimal,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the other thing that we did is just to experiment, we put 15% on it for the promoted listings. Has not helped. So I guess the lesson to be learned is if you don't have very good items, you're not going to be selling them, even if you've got 15% on them. So I'm going to experiment with that a little more. It'll be pretty funny if I move it down to 10% and suddenly make a sale or something, but you just never know. So that's what we got for you today. And sure we got some more exciting videos coming up soon. Thank you.
Take it easy. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, so we picked up some pallet shelving over here. When you're running a warehouse, you never have too much shelving. So we got a couple of people here unloading. Here it all is. And that's what it looks like. And then you've got the fun thing of assembling it. Roughly how long would that take to assemble, Mr. Dash Magazine?
10 units would probably take at least 10 hours, right? They got to be an hour a unit.
An hour a
And you
unit.
still got to get the wood and cut the wood, so
Oh,
probably
okay.
a couple hours to get that.
So that's basically just, for lack of a better word, kind of the scaffolding, and then you put the wood into there as well.
2x4's got to be screwed on underneath for support. We got about 100 units so far of these in there.
Oh, wow. Very good. And did you bring your muscles?
I hope so. Yes, he's right there.
Nice. Seems like